next year, like this year, but then next year it could work. Because if you got sick, how would you feel?
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you. So maybe the best way to explain it is that when we electrify, right now, it's kind of like building a house. We don't yet have a wire that brings electricity into the house. We don't have wires within the house. We don't have an outlet that you can plug it into to electrify. So for the entire system right now, what we're doing is we're looking at how we're going to tap into hydro. We've got to bring that hydro into wires so that we can power the trains. And we're doing that as fast as we can, but we have to build it first, and it does take some time to build it. So thank you for that question.
If you were building a house, you wouldn't get a permit.
But you're building it twice. Why are you building this twice? Why are you building this twice?
Okay, so we'll get to you in a moment. Gina, right at this end. Thank you.
I just wanted to stand up for goldenrod. Goldenrod is part of biodiversity and is very, very important. I just wanted to do another little bit of housekeeping too about sound. The dB scale is a logarithmic scale, which means that 10 dB is more than twice the volume of 5 dB. It's exponential, correct?
Well, yeah,
So it's very important when discussing these things, especially to a non-scientific audience, that you're clear about how the scale works. So it's like the Richter scale. So how much more is 10 dB than 5 dB on an exponential scale?
Sam, do you want to?
Just so people know.
No, so I did say that 10 dB increase is about a doubling the loudness. If 5 dB is probably about 50% louder, roughly.
Okay, I just want people to be clear on that, because
No,
that often
yeah.
gets lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just going to make a quick comment, if that is cool with you folks, and I've written it down so I can speed through it. So I'm representing Friends of West Toronto Rail Path and also other proponents of human-powered motion in the community. And my statement is in no way an endorsement of this plan. It is just a comment on the plan for the EA as you're envisioning it now. If that's cool, and it's not very long.
And if you could just send it to us, we'll make sure the full is submitted.
Yes, it was actually already sent to Metrolinx as part of a letter from the community. So in terms of the mixed-use trail aspect of it, you know, all of us need to work together for better transit of all modes. And that's basically what we're talking about when we talk about intermodal transportation or active transportation. And so I kind of find that we need to get out of our silos and work together to make every transit opportunity the best one that it can be. Now, with the potential creation of a mixed-use trail alongside or under the overpass, we have a rare chance to connect different neighborhoods and expand to the future Green Line to the north and to the West Toronto Rail Path, which will soon go all the way down south to Able Street. If this trail is just a few blocks, if the trail that's under the underpass is just a few blocks long, then it would not be as useful. It would sort of be like a berry line that went only from Bloor to Davenport. Sure, there would be some local use, but its potential would be limited, and at night this trail would be very underused. And in terms of a potential station at Bloor, you won't get a mobility hub if you just build a stub. I know, it's pretty corny.
That's very nice.
So a connected trail that goes somewhere will have vibrancy, safety, and people-powered transit that will enrich all the communities that are connected. And it will provide intermodal options for thousands more, sort of like from trail to your rail, and vice versa. And that would be kind of cool, actually. So, in closing, in terms of this project, Metrolinx has a mandate to support intermodal transit. To make this the best it can be, we need Metrolinx to not just say on brochures that this would be nice to connect to other things, but to instead say, we Metrolinx support this, and we will actively work with the city and the community to make it happen. Please join us in making this amenity a true benefit to the West End for the next 100 years. Thank you.
But I would point out that MPP Martins and Councillor Bailao have also spoken to us about the importance from the community of connecting those paths. And so what was in the sheet that's available today is that we've done some initial work south of Bloor to connect with the Toronto West Rail Path, and we do think it's possible that there's some areas in there where we may need to work with the city in terms of connecting the two because we don't own them all. And in terms of connecting north, we are also looking at that, and that also crosses over into municipal jurisdiction because the support of the councillor and the support of the MPP, I know that is definitely a priority, and that we are, to your point, actively working to make that a reality. Sorry, I'm going to. Oh, sorry, sir. And then we're going to do this man first, and then you next. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A few questions. I live on Rankin Crescent on the east side of the street between Walls and Peyton. So a couple of things. One, the reflection from the stainless steel, I'm just concerned that the reflection from the sun would come right directly into my house, given the height of the wall isn't high enough to, I guess, prevent that from happening. So just a comment on whether or not there's anything to be done to mitigate that. Second point on the height of the wall, is there anything that can be done to extend it so that we don't actually come face to face with people going to work every day? Thirdly, there's supposed to be about 14 decibels, I think, on increase relative to where we are on the plan. Is there anything, what's the level of mitigation that we're talking about when you speak about, these ballast mats and all this sort of stuff? Like what actual percentage mitigation are we talking about? And then finally, I'm not sure, I didn't see this in some of the analysis that's been done so far, but has any work been done in terms of the potential carcinogenic impact of having increased diesel service for the next 8 to 10 years? Thank you.
So I'm going to answer just really quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over the kind of a middle question and the last question. In terms of the impact from the diesel trains, that was looked at as part of that air quality study that we showed results of earlier. So we could go, if you have additional questions on that, we can definitely go over that with you. In terms of the stainless steel and the impact into your house or the backyard, Beth or John mentioned earlier that there are different options in terms of that stainless steel, and one of the options is a burnished, so it wouldn't be as reflective. So if you want to think of like a brushed stainless steel that doesn't have the same reflective quality, but the stainless steel is a design element that, again, as we move forward in the design process, that is something that we can discuss, and if it's a concern that the burnished isn't even going to mitigate what we'll experience, then that's up for discussion. I'm just going to turn it over to Sam in terms of the questions about mitigation, ballast mats.
So I think you had two questions. One was the height of the barrier and could it be raised? So the reason we recommended a 2-meter high barrier was it was quite effective at the higher elevations of the overpass and guideway. As you get back down to grade, you can go taller, and we will investigate that during the design. The reason that the barrier is 2 meters and not 5 is because of the technical feasibility and also visual impact. So we try to keep the barrier compact while still providing quite a bit of reduction of the electric. Yeah, as it gets further back to grade, yeah, we can look at going taller. Yeah. And then, so the vibration levels, they're not like noise, they're expressed in absolute levels. So it's a 14% increase in vibration levels. And ballast mats can provide, depending on the soils and things like that, they can provide a 25% reduction or more. If you have really stiff soils, they can provide quite a bit of reduction. And if you don't have any stiff soils, then it's less effective.
So there'll still be increased size?
No. You go 25, you go 14% up and then 25% down. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. You would have to look at the you'd have to look at the soils in order to determine the exact measure. Yep.
We can come back as well in terms of as we move forward what that impact will be or what the mitigation that is determined is going to be. So we'll come back on that point. Okay, are we done this row now? And now we move to this very patient lady.
Just the people from Metrolinx here, I know you're dealing with a hostile room, but deep down we are appreciative of your taking our questions, so thank you. My question is for Beth, actually. And I don't know if you can answer this or not. I know you guys are just working with the pool of money that you have, and you're doing the best that you can with what you have. How much would it cost to build a bridge or an overpass that is, going to be in an architectural magazine? This is not like an actual, this isn't like a dig or anything, this is like an actual question of, this kind of looks like the options for Davenport rendering with some stainless steel on the side. And Metrolinx was very, and that's, again, which Metrolinx was very upset about when we released, but it's just, it looks very similar. So how much would it be to build a really pretty bridge?
The feedback that we received at the City of Toronto Design Review Panel commended this design. This is a community of our peers. They are not our employees. They are our peers in the field of design, and they're on that panel because they're experts. And they talked about the design as they commended Metrolinx for leading with design on this project.
No, this is the thing. I get this is you're doing a great job with what you have. But if you want to get this in a magazine, this is something you're proud of in your career. How much does that cost to build?
I am proud of this in my career.
I don't know. I don't.
This is a bridge that goes far above and beyond a typical train overpass. It takes into account quality of space underneath. It allows for planting, it allows for a multi-use pathway, it allows for a park that will increase the amenity in our neighborhoods for generations to come. That's a significant contribution.
But you can't use it because of the noise.
And I thank Beth, but I do think she's genuinely proud of that comment, and we can follow up with you if you're asking about cost differentials and international examples. We'll get back to you on that, but to Beth, I do think she's proud of the work she's done. So I know.
Not only Beth. Beth is doing
She's
bona fide great work. But
She
we want
is.
to help you as a community get the most money you can from our political overlords to make this even snazzier. So
We will give you some snazzy examples, but I'm going to put Beth on the spot more on that. So thank you for the comment and questions. Next, so I'm looking at Gina and in terms of going down the line, in terms of the road. Sir, from the beginning, sir, I did say I tried to take it order because people have questions. So this gentleman here also has a question. Pardon me?
You're being unfair. You've been waiting
Everyone's been waiting the same amount of time, and I know there's lots of questions.
So, sorry, I guess two questions. You did a lot of assessments, and I appreciate the comments about have you done it like a real social impact in terms of the quality of life and the community. What will the impact be on that? But I'd like to ask, I know you did the national environment assessments on endangered species in the downtown core and how will they be affected. What's going to be the dollar value on the property of the neighborhood after this, and how much is going to be lost? And why is it more important that commuters from Barrie get a 15-minute train?
Absolutely.
When this neighborhood is going to
Absolutely.
And I'm sure this is going to be met with a certain response, but actually the 15-minute two-way electrified service does not extend to Barrie. The 15-minute two-way electrified service is actually about changing from basically a 50-kilometer radius of Union Station, which is 416, is using existing GO corridors, so there's 7 of them, to actually offer a new rapid transit option. So the people from Barrie don't get the 15-minute service. The people in the city of Toronto, because there is the congestion and problems, that's where the focus is.
I appreciate that, and I really appreciate that because it sort of leads nicely into my next question, which the last, when the young gentleman who was standing over there,
Yes.
and the kind of line of conversation went to sort of, you know, if the kind of crowd asking you to say flat out this was going to have a negative impact on this community, and you wouldn't say that. And the answer you just gave, I think, is indicative of your approach generally, which is sort of non-answers and sort of not directly dealing with the conversation that we're trying to have with you, except for Sam. You know, in light of that, sort of, you can't even flat out tell us that this is going to have a negative impact on us. When anyone, sorry, let me finish my question. When anyone can plainly see it is, right? I mean, like, honestly. So, sorry. Okay. The question is, you know, outside of changing voting patterns, what can we actually do to make changes? Are the ministers going to be here? Will Del Duca come or Murray for the next community engagements, or is this just you guys coming, the comms people and a couple experts I'm sorry, you guys get just get beat up. What are you actually going to do for us? Except, you know, put lipstick on the pig. Is there going to be a minister here? I've always voted Liberal. I don't want to vote for anyone else because I don't like them, but I will, because this is the only thing that really matters to me.
I don't know if you were at the meeting or not, but MPP Martins actually did bring Minister Del Duca to the Davenport community for a meeting so that he could hear directly from the community about the project and concerns. So that presence has come, and though Metrolinx is here to answer your questions, what I will say is that I don't have all the answers and I don't have absolutes. What I have is where we're at today, what we're trying to work through, and I'm giving my honest response about where we're at today. So that may not fully satisfy everyone's questions.
You don't need all the answers, but your answers haven't been truthful, and that's the problem.
Next.
I'm not sure if this has been released yet or not, but ridership projection numbers, if they've been released or not. And my second question is, south of Bloor Street, what's in plan for vibration and noise mitigation south of Bloor Street?
Okay. So the full business case, there was a business case that Metrolinx went through to provide the province with an understanding of what it would take to bring a 15-minute two-way service to the GO network. There's 5 different business cases with ridership projections. It is online, and I'm happy to send that link to you. It's quite a large document, so I'd be happy to meet with you and bring in experts. I don't have them on me right now, but I can get them. What I would say about noise mitigation south of Bloor is this project, in terms of bringing this expanded GO service, has a lot of layers, I would say. So right now, as we're looking at stations on a network-wide level, and the Bloor station is part of one study, there's also an active study underway that is about doubling the track on the entire corridor. So to your question, noise south of Bloor is part of that EA process, and we will also be out with that information to provide where sound mitigation is required for the rest of the corridor. So, yes.